Good morning, sunshines. Today, we're gonna learn to draw. Yay! I'm going to separate this into three little sequences. First, today we're gonna learn to draw a face. Then the second episode will be drawing the figure. And the third episode will be drawing in perspective. So today, right now, we're gonna start drawing the face. So hopefully you have a pencil and a piece of paper, or a pen, doesn't matter, and something to draw on, a piece of paper of some sort. So what I want you to do, everybody, I can assume that you can hold a pencil in your hand. If you can't hold a pencil in your hand, it's gonna be tough to draw. But I assume that you can hold a pencil in your hand. The first thing I want you to do, don't think about anything, just on your piece of paper, draw 5 circles. Just very quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 circles, fast and quick. Now, look at your circles. One of the things about drawing is that you should edit as you go. So I want you to look at your circles and pick the worst one. Pick the worst circle you made. I think that one, I think, is my best circle. I think this one is the worst circle. That one's not too good, but I'm gonna pick this one as my worst circle. Yes? Now, pick your worst circle. The important thing about picking your worst circle is it's already screwed up. You have already messed that up. So there's no tension about screwing it up any further. If I messed that one up, I've messed up my perfect circle. So I'm gonna save my perfect circle for last. Yes? But I'm gonna learn on my worst circle and then work up to the best circle. Yes? Now, first of all, the first lesson is not all faces are circular. Matter of fact, that probably works best for a face. It doesn't work well for a circle. But what we're gonna talk about is the proportions of a typical face. Obviously, people have different sizes, noses, eyes, ears, all that sort of stuff. We're just gonna go with the typical measurements of a typical face, yes? Once you learn to draw, you can get over the phobia and the fear of it, then you can start worrying about making drawings that are particular drawings of particular people. Right now, we're just gonna draw a non-particular face. First thing I want you to do is divide the circle approximately in half. Give yourself a little dotted line, approximately halfway through. Don't take a ruler, but just approximately halfway through. And then also give yourself a little dotted line approximately halfway. Now, as you can see, because my circle sort of has a lean to it, a cant to it, the middle of it sort of has a cant and a lean to it as well. Yes? Now, let's talk about symbols. When you were taught to draw, my guess is, or excuse me, when you were taught to write, my guess is whoever taught you in kindergarten to make an A, taught you to make an A something like this. Now, probably none of you make an A like that. Probably you moved on to some other form of A. There's the Alabama A, there's the Atlanta Braves A. We've got all kind of A's. People make A's like that. Some people still do it the old-fashioned way. I make my A's like that. It's pretty close. But anyway, there's the way it was intended to be drawn, and there's your style that you add to it. Yes? So what I'm going to do is give you a symbol for an eye. Your eye. What you want to do is draw a little dot, and then have a little parenthesis that touches the top of the dot. A little dot, a little parenthesis that touches the top of the dot. Again, the problem is if you have the dot and your parenthesis doesn't touch the dot, it's going to look like you're scared or mean or something. But just for your casual eye, you want the dot to have a parenthesis, and that's all it is, a little parenthesis, that touches the eye. Yes? So, what I want you to do is divide your halves into half, and where those cross, that's the dot of the eye. Most people's eyes are at quarter line halfway. Now, of course, the dot and then the parenthesis, yes? Now, about halfway down between here and where you are, draw yourself another dotted line, yes? I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Pocahontas. Again, just another symbol. Pocahontas' nose is that. I promise you, that is Pocahontas' nose. If it's good enough for Pocahontas, it's good enough for us. So, take your little Pocahontas nose and put it right there. Again, eventually people have larger noses, smaller noses, although it'd be tough to have a smaller nose than Pocahontas. But you have your little nose right there. There's your eyes and your nose. Cool, we're halfway through. Draw yourself another line approximately halfway between the nose line and your chin. Yes? Now, here's where you sort of need to decide whether you're drawing a man or a woman. And I'll show you the reason why. First of all, lips, we're going to draw a half line from a little humpy hump from the midline to the eye line. That's normally people's lips part about where their eye is in. Again, some people's eyes are narrower, some people, but for the most part, that's where our lips are. Now, I'm going to tell you, for whatever reason, if you put the bottom lip in, to me, it just makes that figure look feminine. Yes? So if this is a male, just leave that bottom lip off. If this is a female, put the bottom lip in. Again, I'm going to show you a little drawing of somebody else does it. What he does is he just draws part of the bottom lip in for a male. Yes? Now, if you want to put facial hair in, if you're drawing a man, don't like drawing lips, you want to draw some mustaches and some beards and some goatees and whatever else, that's fine. Here's a little sketch with Freud with his little beard. Again, your hairline, about halfway up between your eyes and the top of your head is where your hairline is. I know some of us have a hairline that's a little bit higher than others, but for the most part, your hairline is there. Now, if you have bangs, obviously the hairline comes down below your bangs. If you don't have bangs, your hairline goes above it. Now, ears typically are from your eyes to your nose. Again, some people have, like Barack Obama, have ears that go from, are like Dumbo elephant ears. But ears are just, again, a little comma outside the line of your head, between your eye and your ear. Again, fill in the gaps with your hair. You can go ahead and decide to give them, some long curly hair, whatever you want to do. Give them a little mullet. You're typically your neck is just to the outside of your eyes. There are people who work out a lot. You've seen them whose necks are like way out here. Yes, so you could be way out here with your neck, right? For an athlete, something maybe like that. If you're a woman and you have a slender neck, it may come in a little bit beyond that. Yes. But there is the basic proportions of a face. You want to divide the drawing in half, divide the drawing in half, divide it in half. Where the quarter line crosses the half line is where your eyes go. Your symbols for your eyes are a dot with a little parenthesis on the top. Symbol for your nose is a little upside down parenthesis. Your lips, parenthesis, and again, if it's a male, don't worry about the bottom lip. You can add ears, you can add hair, whatever it is to make the figure complete. You've got 4 more circles. Watch this little video that I'm going to include that shows you how this man sketches, because again, it's very similar. Eventually, you want to get to the point where you're not having to, you can imagine where the lines are, you can imagine where the quarter lines are. So eventually, you just want to get to the point where you just have the dots, but you don't necessarily have the actual hash marks. So eventually you work your way to the point where you can do the drawing without having to do the separate pieces, and then you can create the face the way you want it. Again, people like Stewie, have a football head. The proportions are still the same though. Stewie's eyes are still quarter line out, his mouth, his lips, all those sort of things are that way, right? So the proportion, no matter what the circle may look like, the proportions are still the same, right? Let's see, what's the guy's name? Is the guy's name Stewie in Rugrats? Yeah, I think his name is Stewie, the little baby.
That's Tommy.
Tommy. There's my little picture of Tommy there. But Stewie's the football guy, yes? So watch the video, come back from the video, and draw your figure in your other 3 drawings. Again, practice makes perfect. The more you do it, the more you connect your synaptic connections, the easier this gets, the quicker you can draw your little face. And again, trust me, the face is the hardest thing to draw, because that's what we look at most often is the human face. And so when we mess up the face, we recognize it more quickly than if we mess up any other thing. Okay? Enjoy the video and enjoy the sketching the rest of your circles.